Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I am back with the first layout that I'm going to make with my Messy Box kit. And so what I've done so far is I have pulled out the photo that I'm going to use and some supplies that I'm going to use. So there are 3 pattern papers that came with this kit, and I have 2 of them here. And I've also pulled out 3 additional cardstock pieces from my stash. I have a white, a shimmery yellow, and a craft. I'm not exactly sure which direction I want to go with this, but the photo that I've pulled out is a Thanksgiving photo. So I liked the yellows and the tans together, and then of course it has a few pops of pinks and greens. These are all of the supplies that came in the kit that I have pulled to use with this. And then I also pulled out a few additional things from my from my stash, just because there's not a whole lot of embellishments with this kit. So I've pulled out the Pebbles chips, and this is the fall themed one. This is the fall themed set. I've also pulled out the basic gray hello label stickers. Thinking about maybe pulling in some teals or using some of the greens from this collection as well. Okay, I also pulled out these die cut stickers. These are from Studio 112, and I just pulled this out for these greens and kind of the pale yellows. I thought that would be a nice mix. I also pulled out a doily, and I'll have to punch out each of these little holes, but I thought that might be kind of a way to soften some of the patterns. I pulled out my Thankful stamp set from Ellie's Studio. And then I do have very, very few Thanksgiving themed products. I have a long sticker and then a few die cuts that I cut from some Bella Boulevard paper, as well as a few flare. There we go. Those are from Bella Boulevard Cute Cuts Thankful. And then a few flare. And these flare have cranberry sauce and a drumstick. So we'll see if I end up using these or not. But I pulled all of these out to work with to be able to create this layout. All right, let's get right into it. Okay, I'm speeding up the video a little bit so you don't have to watch it real time, but the very first thing I decided to do is go ahead and pull out these Bella Boulevard Cute Cuts and see what's in here. Now, originally, I wasn't really sure if I would use these. I really kind of pulled them out for the Project Life cards because I have this idea to do a grid layout. And I want to use, of course, my photo, that notepad piece of paper from the Happy Mail kit. And then I knew I wanted to use this doily. So beyond that, I really didn't have any plans. It's going to take me a minute here to get all the little holes out of the doily. As you can see, this is a Martha Stewart doily. If it gets to be a little excessive, I will fast forward this, but I do it in parts, so I don't think it's actually that bad. Now, I knew I wanted to do some sort of grid, and I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to line this up. There are a lot of yellows and teals, no, I'm sorry, not teals, tans in this kit. And that's really what prompted me to pull out these Thanksgiving photos. So these are Thanksgiving photos, as you can see from Kaylin's hat. He's got a turkey headband hat thing on. And this was at the Thanksgiving breakfast at his preschool. So I decided to go ahead and go with the tans and the yellow colors. And then, of course, there's some other pops of color. There is some green in this one card. There is also some green on the turkey, around the turkey in that Give Thanks card. And I'll pull in a couple other green elements as well. The photo didn't seem to be popping up off the back of the white cardstock background enough for me. So I used that yellow polka dot paper that came in the kit to mat my photo. And then just the same, this Give Thanks card was really dull looking to me, so I used that notes pad to mat that Give Thanks card as well. I originally had thought I would do my journaling on that notes, but it had too much pink in it, and I'm really not using much pink anywhere else in the layout. Now, there are some pale pink colors on that bottom right 4x6 piece of paper that I cut, but I'm also going to cover up that real bright magenta color. And this is where that doily, the majority of that doily, is going to be. I'll take a moment here and punch out all the little holes. But I really like these doilies. They're not exactly a true white, but that makes it to where it kind of stands out against a white background. It's a tone-on-tone white background, but with the white background, but it's just different enough that you can see it. And they're not as delicate as some of the doilies that that you use a lot in scrapbook supplies. It's supposed to be a template, I believe, but I got it at Tuesday Morning in a Martha Stewart set. I think it's a template or like a decoupage piece. So it's not exactly the same as a regular doily, but I like it. It has that doily look, but with a different pattern. This pumpkin that I've pulled out is from that Bella Boulevard's Cute Cuts. So that Give Thanks card, the pumpkin, and the turkey are all from that Bella Boulevard set that you see to the left of the screen here. Everything was just kind of blending in with the background, as it should because it's a plain white background. So I decided to just outline all of my cards and all of my pieces of paper. Well, with the exception of the two that are matted. I'm not going to outline those because they already have an understood outline with the mat itself. And this diagonal card I really like, but you're going to see it give me some grief here in a moment. I wanted to add my journaling on there, but it just wasn't working. So you'll see what I do here in a moment. Because I do outline the papers and have the photo mats on the other two pieces that are on here, I'm going to add an outline border to the entire 12 by 12 sheet as well. I feel like that finishes it off. It kind of brings everything together and it makes everything kind of coordinate. And I have a really hard time doing outlines evenly, so I just use my Tim Holtz ruler. It doesn't have to be lined up exactly, but I don't like the line wavering very much. I can handle it on the smaller cards, like on the 3x3 card and on the 4x6 card, but I just can't do it on a 12x12. I end up running off the side of the page. I like these banners, and I thought about using that one that said squad because this picture is of Kaylin, myself, and one of his friends, and so it's kind of like his squad, but it was too bold. It's in dark, well, it's in black, so it's dark, and a lot of the elements on this page are actually brown, not black, so I felt like it was just too much of a contrast. I'm using the alphas that came in the kit, and this again is the beautiful, it's A Beautiful Mess is the name of the company that these kits are from, and the scrapbook kit is called A Messy Box, and the stationery kit is called Happy Mail. The only thing that's on this layout from the stationery kit is that notes, that 4x6 piece that's under the Give Thanks card that said notes on it. That's the only thing that's actually from the Happy Mail kit that I use on this page. But if you missed my last video, definitely go back and check it out because it shows how I used that Happy Mail kit and embellished a few of the cards to make them just a little bit more unique. I thought about using a few of these pieces, especially all of these leaves. They're very pretty and they really would have worked, but I felt like it made the page just a little bit too busy, so I'd take them off. That's the one I really thought I was going to leave with the acorn, and that is from Pebbles. I think they're called chips packets. When I think of chips, I think chipboard, but it's not chipboard. They're just cardstock die cuts, but there's a lot in there. Decided to go ahead and take the piece of the doily that I had cut off and add it to another part of the layout. So I'm just taking out all of the little holes so that it'll be ready to use when I'm ready to put it down. Now that stamp set that you see at the top of the screen is actually from Ellie Studio, and it's their Thankful stamp set. It's Thanksgiving themed, and it has a bunch of different sayings and elements on there that you can use. And so I'm going to use the line that has the arrow ends on it, and then I'm also going to use the heart as well. And I don't really have a brown ink. The only brown ink that I really have is my StazOn ink, and it's in Timber Brown, so it's going to stain my stamps, which is okay. I don't have the StazOn stamp cleaner, but if I'm going to use these stamps, I don't mind what color they are. As long as I can use them, it's fine with me. I don't really give away my stamps or resell my products, so it's okay if it stains, and that doesn't bother me. Now I'm going to use these confetti sequins pieces that came in the kit. I'm going to use the green ones and the gold ones just to pull in a little bit more of that color to each of the sides here. I don't really follow the rule of thirds or the rule of three in this layout. I guess I kind of do the rule of thirds because the photos lined up on the top third. And then the second row of cards is really kind of centered on the bottom third line as well. But that was not done on purpose. So my title here is Little Turkey. I'm using these red alphas. I believe they're from Fancy Pants. They were from a Christmas 12 by 12 sheet of stickers, and I cut all the alphas out individually. I like to store my alphas that way. It's just easier for me to use them that way. But I believe it was a Christmas stamp set. I mean, not stamp set, Christmas sticker sheet. So I put my little heart there, and then I am going to do it again over there by the Give Thanks. I don't have a re-inker for this StazOn. It was very highly clearanced out when I purchased it at Archivers, and I don't use it very frequently, but I could tell that it's not quite as juicy as it was originally, and so I probably should get a re-inker for it. But again, I don't use it very often, so I don't really see the point in getting a re-inker right now. However, I believe I need some more neutral stamp pads. I have a couple different grays, which I'm not really happy with. I have black. I like my Memento Tuxedo black. And then I have this brown one, which is Timber Brown, but I'm not real happy. I don't have a really good selection of neutral ink, so I really need to invest in probably getting the neutral set from Stampin' Up. Just adding this other stamping here. I felt like I needed something to kind of tie in some of these other cards that aren't quite so busy, and I felt like the stamping was just the thing. I'm going to add my journaling here. This is where I mentioned that original card gave me a bit of grief, so I'm going to cut the same card that's in this pink and use those lines for my journaling. And I really wanted to put it there on the card with the turkey. I had a difficult time with that pattern paper because it was so busy. In the end, I love it, but when I was actually doing it, I felt like it was a little busy, which is why I covered a portion of it up with the doily. So I thought about putting it there, thought about putting it there, and I thought about putting it here. And this is where it's going to end up. The only reason I don't like it on the card that it ends up on is because the lines are not the same direction as the lines on the background. So I feel like it kind of competes with it a little. And I really thought about putting it there on the side, but I don't know. I probably should have done that. I didn't. But anyways, it works out where it is. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you check out my blog post because I have the list of supplies I used as well as other links. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.